You have any idea what we want to talk to you about? Because I kind of think you might.
Well, my parents said that you were at their house.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think that's about?
It was about a baby.
Yeah. What about?
A baby that was left.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about it?
The woman you have just seen was Gail Ritchey, a 49-year-old wife and mother of 3 who lived in Euclid, Ohio. In March 1993, a month before she turned 23 years old, she tossed her newborn baby boy in a discreet location on the side of Sidley Road in Geauga County, Ohio. She heartlessly wrapped the child in a garbage bag a few moments after he was born and left him in a remote area, hidden from unsuspecting passing vehicles. On March 25, 1993, 2 newspaper delivery women found him and called the police.
Just hope they find who did it. I hope they're punished. Because there are a lot of people out there that want babies. They could have gave it up for adoption or something.
The child was left with no chance to survive and unfortunately was found dead. But this stirred up very strong emotions in the people of the county, and the case became very popular at the time. Even the sheriff who worked on the case at the time was devastated beyond measure.
The first thing got to me when I looked at it, I said, why? How? We wanted to know, was the child alive or was it born dead?
The community even came forward and raised funds in order to have a proper funeral and tombstone for the baby. And since the baby had no identity, the tombstone called him Geauga's child, named after the county that claimed him as their own. All efforts were made to locate the mother of the child, but to no avail, and the case went cold. But this was until 2019, when familial DNA testing brought about big revelations. By this time, Gail was happily married to her husband, Mark Ritchey, who had been her boyfriend at the time of the crime and had also been the father of the baby. The DNA of Geauga's child was put through a genetic genealogy study, and the police quickly focused on the possible mother and visited her home for further inquiry.
Well, what we'd like to do is get your DNA, okay? And then we would like for you to come back to our sheriff's office so that we can talk. You're not being arrested, okay? But we need to sit down and we need to hear your side of the story. Okay?
There could be many reasons why Gail did what she did in 1993, and the detectives hope an empathetic approach will allow her to open up more. The detectives have to explore the possibility that Gail may have been in a vulnerable position herself when she abandoned her child.
I was at work. I was a nanny for a family in Shaker Heights. I was waiting for them to come home from school. I hadn't been feeling well at all that day. The next thing I knew, I was giving birth to a baby in the toilet. I didn't know what to do. The kids hadn't gotten home from school yet.
Okay.
The only thing I could think of was to put the baby in a bag. I have no idea what this was. I never looked at it. I took it out to my car and placed it in the trunk. And I cleaned up the bathroom.
Was the baby still in a bag at that time? Or did you put it in something else?
Put it in a bag.
Like a garbage bag?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And then I went home.
Where were you living at the time?
With my parents. I was still
on
at home.
Harwich there?
Yeah. I wasn't sure what to do. No one knew. Then we had and I don't know the time frame from when to when, but camps that were associated with koinonia out here. I came out with our youth group for a weekend. And I didn't. We got in my car. I left the camp for a while. I got in my car.
From Camp Koinonia?
Yes.
I have trouble saying that. I apologize.
Yes. I got in my car and just drove. I don't know where I ended up. And I just ended up stopping on a road. I don't know which road. And I took the bag out of the trunk. And I laid it in the woods.
This is a woman who is speaking about throwing away her newborn baby. But you'll not see any expressions of grief or guilt unless she talks about herself. It's shocking that she has been described as a loving mother to her 3 children when she was capable of such a monstrous act towards her first child. In the clip shown, she cries a little, but that is not in relation to the baby. Rather, it's because she's looking back and feeling sorry for herself, as she did not know what to do. When it comes to the baby, she couldn't care less. Gail does not even remember the day her child was born, regardless of what she went on to do with him. Geauga's child was a little boy, but she seems to have wiped the child from her memory. Gail is upfront when giving information about herself, but the detectives find it difficult to get her cooperation when they ask about other people's statements. She refuses to give the information of the family she babysat for at the time because she does not wish to embarrass herself.
How long before you moved into that house do you say the baby was born? Was it months, weeks, years?
Well, it was in the winter.
It was in winter? So was it like that winter before you moved in? Or was it a couple winters before?
It may have been January of that year. I don't.
But you think it was that year, 93, when you moved into the house? I don't remember what year it was. Okay. But it was cold and snowy?
I guess it could have been at the end of 92, maybe December of 92, but the kids would have been home for Christmas break, so it must have been January of 93.
January of 93, somewhere around there that the baby was actually born?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you active with anybody else besides Mark prior to that?
I was not.
No. So you're confident that Mark is the father?
Her father, yeah.
Okay. Now getting back to the like how the baby was born and placed in the bag.
I did not cut it.
How did that umbilical cord get cut then?
I don't know. I didn't cut it.
You didn't cut it?
No.
You're positive of that?
I am.
I mean, obviously we're talking about 26 years, so there's, as you said, some things that you're not real.
Yes, I
sure.
understand.
But there's no possible way that you cut that umbilical cord.
I'm almost certain I didn't.
Is it possible, or are you positive that you didn't cut that umbilical cord? Because there's a couple of things that, Gail, you've told us a lot, but there's a couple of things that I am kind of struggling with. And some of that is to do with the baby, because a full autopsy was done. The baby was found. Obviously, that's clear now. And the umbilical cord was cut, and the coroner's report can show that the baby was born alive.
Okay.
and that the baby had taken breaths.
Okay.
So that tells me that the baby was moving, and there had to be some type of screaming or something that you heard or saw.
This case is very challenging for the detectives because more than 2 decades have already passed and they have limited physical evidence. So it's necessary they align the old evidence with Gail's testimony. Geauga's child was found with a severed umbilical cord, and according to forensic evidence, he was alive at birth. Another indicator was the presence of oxygen in the lungs. A common practice to see if a child was alive at birth is to float their lungs in water. If they float, then it means oxygen content was present, meaning the child was alive. But Gail's statement differs from the evidence at this point. A simple explanation is that the umbilical cord may have shed off while the animal dragged the corpse towards the road. And despite the lungs having oxygen and the baby being alive, the cause of inaudible cries could have been a birth defect. This explains why the child was breathing and still could not make a sound. This proves the baby was alive at the time of the birth and allows the officers to press charges for murder.
I don't know if that's just something that you don't want to remember, obviously due to the circumstances.
It's possible, but I really don't remember it ever making a sound.
How about in the bag? Was it still moving around in the bag? Or had it kind of maybe drowned in the toilet? Or was it still kind of moving around in the bag? Well, I can tell you it didn't drown in the toilet because it didn't have water in its lungs.
No, I don't think it stayed in the toilet long before I put it in the bag.
So even in the bag, it's got some oxygen in there. It's breathing. It's taking some breaths. It's probably moving. It's got to be making some kind of noise.
I really don't remember it making noise. I really don't.
Do you remember the bag making any noise? Was the bag moving, crinkling?
Not that I'm aware of. I suppose it could have been when I put it in the car.
Mm-hmm. But either in the toilet or when you quickly put it in the bag, it had to be making some kind of noise or moving around. But ultimately, due to your condition at the time, your intention was no matter what, you weren't going to keep this baby.
I didn't know what to do.
Detectives have realized that Mark is Gail's stress point. Any extraction of information can be done by leveraging Mark's name. For 26 years, Gail has kept the biggest secret imaginable, but she does not break down. One of the few instances in which we see a reaction from her is when she's afraid that she may upset Mark with her actions. She mentions that in her mind, the worst case scenario while abandoning her child back then was Mark's reaction, and that he may have left her had she not done what she went on to do to the baby. She confesses that she regrets not telling Mark about the birth, but not because she's guilty, but rather because she's scared that he will leave her now that he hears about what she did. Even though she tries to make Mark look like the motivation behind her killing, that is barely a passable excuse for what she's done.
Obviously, at that time, you guys had to be talking about some type of a future together. Because just a few short months later, you kind of moved in together, and within a year and a half, you're getting married, so there had to be some kind of talk.
So we did purchase the house in '93, but he never let on that he was gonna. I had no idea that he was gonna propose to me in December of '93.
So it wasn't even something that you guys had talked about having a future and kids, and never came up in conversation. It just kind of came up out of the blue.
Right. I mean, we had talked about it, but he was, because of purchasing the house, just felt like it wasn't time that he could purchase a ring or anything like that.
Financially, he was kind of strapped.
Yes, he felt strapped.
Did it kind of come up in conversation?
Yes,
like those were dating?
I'm sure it did, yeah.
And what was, was he always of the opinion he wanted like a large family, or what did you two talk about?
I think we were both agreed that we thought 3 children was a good, nice number of kids.
So you both had wanted kids?
Yes.
And had talked about having a couple, at least 3?
Yes.
It was a good number, so.
Yes.
And they had come up throughout your dating?
Periodically. I mean, it wasn't point of conversation all the time.
No, I'm sure it wouldn't be. But you guys talked about having a future together and,
yes,
and raising a family.
Yes.
So it seemed like you wanted to have kids.
Yes.
And eventually you did have kids.
Yes.
So again, what is it that was going through your mind there in March? That made you think if this was coming up in conversation and you guys were talking about having a future and getting married and having 3 kids, what is it that he wants kids when you guys are dating or talking about it in the future? What is it that made you not want to tell him?
I was scared. I was scared to what my father would think.
The motive is already unclear, but the more information Gail shares, the less her statements make sense. It's clear that Mark and her wanted to go on having children, and they were planning a future together, so why not just tell him about the pregnancy? It seems legitimate for her to be afraid of her father because a child outside wedlock would have been strongly criticized at that time. But when she gave birth, she was already 22 years old, turning 23 in a month. She was independent enough to raise a child, despite disapproval from her family.
And then there's other homicide cases here in Geauga County and in Asheville County, Lake County. And now that we have your DNA, it's going to be compared to all those cases. It's going to be in that system. So if there is any other issues out there that we need to talk about, now is the time to do it. Because I'm not getting warm and fuzzy that this isn't the only time. That there may be some more times. And it's going to be compared to all those other cases, Gail. And the last thing you want to do is say that you came in here and be honest with us because, part of what happens is, truth in sentencing and showing genuine remorse and coming clean. And if there are other issues, now's the time that we need to talk about them. And I truly believe that you know that there is other issues. And we're here to listen. We're not here to judge you. We're not yelling and screaming. But you know and I know this isn't the only time. That there's more times that this has happened. And now is the time that you need to tell us about those, Gail. How many other times has this happened?
One other time.
One other time? And when was that? Was it before or after this child?
Before.
Before. Is that what Mark was talking about in 1991? Because he had told our investigators in 1991 that there was another pregnancy that he was aware of.
I didn't tell him I was pregnant. So he may have known.
Finally, Gail has confessed to killing a second infant. When the detectives questioned Gail before, they stressed on it because it's their responsibility to explore every angle. However, they did not expect it to be entirely true. There were aspects of Mark's statement that did not fit Gail's confession. Mark was aware of a pregnancy at some point, but it was before 1993. The detectives thought that Mark may have confused the year, and it may be a dead end. But Gail puts that suspicion to rest and confirms the facts of a second murder. The detectives are shocked, but they try to maintain a professional demeanor.
When was this previous pregnancy?
Probably about that time.
About the 1991 time?
How old were you at the time? Would you remember that? Would that be easier to remember?
20, 21.
Okay.
20.
explain that situation to us.
Tell us what happened. Is it Mark's child as well?
It is.
And tell us what happened on that situation.
Pretty much the same situation, other than I had the baby at his rental house.
And where's his rental house?
It was Euclid.
Euclid? Is that in Harwich?
Huh?
What street was that at?
No, it's where he was living, 248th Street.
Okay.
He rented from his brother. He gave birth to it in the toilet.
Is that a boy or a girl?
I don't know.
You don't know.
And I never.
You didn't want to know?
I never looked.
Okay.
I don't know.
What happened after you gave birth to the child?
I did the same thing. Put it in a garbage bag.
And what did you do with the garbage bag?
I left it.
What do you mean you left it? What does that mean, Gail?
I took it and left it over by medical buildings in Euclid.
Where did you leave it exactly?
There's a road called Brush Road. Goes up behind very tall medical buildings that are there. And I just left it over in the tall grass.
So the baby was here?
Yeah, somewhere in that.
So this is part of Brush Road, or is this like a driveway for the building?
Oh, this is brush, and that's the driveway.
All right, so that's a driveway right there, and the building's here, and the other building is like right here?
Yes.
All right, was there anything over in this field at all?
No, just really tall grass. There were houses here.
There were houses kind of behind here?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Was there anything else distinguishable about the area?
No, that's what it is.
So, and you birthed that child as a full-term baby?
I believe so.
But it looked full-term?
I don't think I even looked at it.
Well, you had to have, I mean, you grabbed it, you moved it, you had to have seen it. Whether or not you're blocking that out of your memory because you don't want to see it, but you did see it.
Okay.
And, but it was, you believe it was a full-term baby? Not sure. Well,
I'm not sure.
You went into like normal labor, right?
I think so.
All right. And that was in 1991.
Yeah.
And how do you know the difference between that child and the child that we found? I mean, what is so distinguishable? Was it because of the location? That's what reminded you of, you know, the child that you birthed on 248th and the child that you birthed at the home in Shaker Heights? But it's very similar in nature how it happened, right?
Yeah.
Though Geauga's baby went without justice for 26 years, fortunately there was enough forensic evidence to prove the facts of the case. Advancements in DNA testing brought Gail, the culprit, in front of the jury, and the fact that the baby had been alive after he was born was enough to present this as a murder. The remains of the first child were not found, and hence they were not presented. The decision was made to not reference the first baby so it could not influence the jury. Finally, 51-year-old Gail Ritchey was convicted of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 15 years on May 24, 2022. Judge Andre, who gave the ruling on her case, had the following to say in the end.
Your wrongful efforts to conceal what happened in February 1993 did buy you 29 years of normal life where you got the chance to get married, raise children, and do some good works. But ultimately you gained that time on the back of a helpless infant whose body you concealed in the woods. Ironically, Geauga's child did more for you than you ever did for him, probably. Your freedom is over. It is finally time to atone for these awful, unnecessary deeds committed 3 decades ago. So I sentence you to life in prison with the possibility of parole in 15 years.
The county of Geauga was heartbroken when they discovered an infant on the side of the road in 1993. There were numerous possibilities as to what brought this child to an untimely fate, but at least there was hope that maybe, somewhere out there, a mother missed her child. But this community of big-hearted people took it in as their own. But when the truth came out, it was worse than their imagination. A monster of a mother who did not care enough to look at the baby, let alone name it. Do you think that Gail got the sentence she deserved, or perhaps do you think she was the victim after all? Share your thoughts below. Theodore Luckey, this 43-year-old suspect, leaves us puzzled. At one point, he's sobbing in the interrogation room. At another, he's smirking and blowing a mocking kiss at the victim's family after his sentencing. It's like seeing two completely different people. Though he's never been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, his split personality is as puzzling as it is disturbing. Let's rewind to 2009 to uncover the roots of this peculiar man and the twisted journey that led him here. In 2009, Theodore, an openly homosexual man, suffered a painful breakup. Crushed by his partner's absence, he invited his ex-boyfriend on a trip to Atlantic City to clear his mind. During the drive, they stopped at a roadside motel where Theodore asked if he could tie his ex to the bed. A deep sadness consumed Theodore, and he left the motel, leaving his ex-boyfriend helplessly tied to the bed as he contemplated taking his own life. As he left the motel, Theodore was looking for a secluded place to execute his plan to take his own life, but he couldn't find one. Instead, he broke into the home of an elderly couple and held them hostage. The woman offered him money, jewelry, and credit cards, confusing him with a robber. Theodore, however, refused and locked the doors and windows, and then disconnected their phones to isolate them. Yet he also showed a gentler side by serving the couple a frozen meal when they mentioned hunger. Despite feeding them, Theodore's mood darkened. After leading the couple upstairs and locking them in a room, he retreated to the garage where he intended to end his own life. These contrasting behaviors, a caretaker on one hand, a hostage taker on the other, show the complexities of his character. Fortunately, the 87-year-old man managed to escape and called 911, resulting in Theodore's arrest before he could end his life. But this is not the reason he was sitting in the interrogation room. After his arrest in 2009, Theodore was sentenced to 15 years in prison in 2012. After his release, Theodore went to New Jersey and began a new life as a baker in a local bakery. So how did he end up in the interrogation room once again? Let's find out. On August 21, 2021, New Hampshire law enforcement received multiple distress calls from Country Inn & Suites in Bedford. When responders reached the scene, they found not just one, but 2 bodies from the hotel. One with 120 stabs from a machete, and the other strangled to death. Given Theodore's background, it's clear he had a knack for impulsive behavior. But when he was implicated in 2 murders on the same day, it raised serious concerns. Let's dive into how and why he carried out these brutal killings with such ruthless intent.
What happened tonight? We'd love you to kind of start us from start to finish, and then we can kind of go back into it, and I'm going to try to answer questions for you.
Answer that.
Are they both dead?
Yeah.
One person is deceased. We know that.
Which one?
We don't know names right now. What would really help us is there another person? Who's this other person?
Which one is deceased?
Like I said, we don't know the names. So Chris and I are over here. We're not over there. I don't have a picture of him. Things are happening kind of quickly. So if you think you can kind of help us save somebody, we'd really appreciate that. Is there another person we should be looking for?
Yeah, where's?
Is he in a hotel room somewhere?
Yeah.
Do you know which floor or which hotel room?
Wait a minute. You said one person is deceased?
One person's deceased, yeah.
Was that the one that was in the lobby?
I don't know. Like I said, we want to sit and we want you to kind of explain things to us. That's why we're here. You know, you're the person, you're the important person right now that's going to be able to fill in these things for us. So that's why
we're here. To tell me which one, and I'll tell you.
I guess the lobby, but I don't know. I don't want to give you. I don't want to give you any bad information.
You gotta tell me which one.
Yeah. Well, Are they both men? Is it one different than the other? Can you help me out?
No, they're not. They're both men.
They're both men. So one man's deceased. That's all I know, and I don't want to say which one it is because I don't know. And that's the God's honest truth. I wouldn't blow smoke at you. I don't know.
Where'd you find the body at?
I don't know. We're not over there.
Theodore, we're so early in this right now.
If you want me to answer anything, tell me where you found the body.
It's so difficult. We can't figure out where the body is. I'm sitting over here. I'm here with you trying to get all this information. This is the important stuff. So is there a body in the lobby?
If you're saying someone's deceased.
In the lobby.
What am I being charged with?
I haven't said you're being charged with anything. I think what would help us is if we just kind of started at the beginning and tried to understand what happened here. And that's what I think you were the important person here to tell us that. Were you staying at the hotel?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Were you there by yourself?
No.
Okay. Who else were you there with?
One of my friends.
Okay. All right. What's his name?
Nathan Cashman.
For more context, 28-year-old Nathan Cashman was the one stabbed 120 times. While Theodore was in Concord, New Hampshire, serving his time from 2016 to 2021, he met Nathan and they instantly clicked. Nathan was also serving time for a separate charge. Theodore and Nathan shared the same prison cell and eventually fell in love with each other. But why would he kill someone he once loved? It's unsettling to see how composed Theodore appears as he discusses his two victims during the interrogation. He takes it even farther by negotiating with the detectives. Without context, you might struggle to tell who is interrogating whom.
It was weird because we were in a relationship. We've been dating for over 3 years. And he told me he loved me. I told him I loved him. He told me he wanted to marry me. He wanted to go back to the hotel. And then I left. And I went to the store and I got him balloons. 10 happy birthday balloons.
Yeah.
I had already bought him some clothes and stuff. And I got 4 gift bags. And put the balloons in the car. And I went back to my hotel. My 2 friends helped me wrap the presents and put them into the gift bags. And tie the balloons to the gift bags. And
sounds like you went all out. Sounds like you're doing everything that a relationship requires.
But he wasn't.
He wasn't invested in it.
He lied to me.
Throughout their relationship, Theodore showed immense generosity and support towards his partner, Nathan. He spared no expense in showering Nathan with gifts and financial assistance, even after Theodore was released and Nathan remained incarcerated. Theodore made sure Nathan had everything he needed upon his release, from brand new clothes and shoes to a substantial sum of money to settle his prison debts. However, during this part of the interrogation, Theodore's tone shifts to one of betrayal and disappointment. Was it another one of his heartbreaks?
And then Monday, everything seemed fine. Tuesday, everything seemed fine. So around about Wednesday or Thursday, okay, then he started acting differently. And I asked him, I said, did something bad happen? And I was just about to go in. I gotta get my hair cut every Friday. And I was just about to go in and get my hair cut, and I got a text from him. And he said he was breaking up.
Is that this Friday, a couple days ago?
Not yesterday.
So a week ago?
Last Friday.
Last Friday. Okay. So he texted you over your cell phone?
I just started crying.
Sure.
I said, why? That's when he told me he had slept with some girl.
Theodore was taken by surprise when Nathan chose to end their relationship. He traveled all the way from New Jersey to New Hampshire, filled with excitement to introduce Nathan to his friends and reunite with the love of his life. However, the breakup dealt his ego a harsh blow, especially in the presence of friends to whom he had spoken so highly of Nathan. But he had been rejected before, and he had had heartbreaks before. So what led him to commit a crime that defies humanity?
I could not believe what he did to me. And for all of my friends that I told the whole story. They hate him and they think he's a before he got out, I made sure that there was money on his account every week so he could max out his commissary. Yes. He ran up drug debts. And I paid those drug debts to Western Unions just so he wouldn't get in trouble. He wanted money on his phone, put money on his phone. I took care of him. I love him. Before he got out, he wanted an outfit. He said, I want red sneakers. Same sneakers he had on today.
You bought him the red sneakers?
And I bought him a red Nike shirt. And I bought him some black Levi's. And after I bought everything, I went to the post office and I overnighted it to make sure it was there.
Right.
And
you're invested in him not only emotionally, but financially, with everything that you have.
Everything.
Even though Nathan had promised to marry Theodore and build a life together, he disregarded it all once he was out. Being manipulated in the name of love is one of the worst feelings, and you can hear in Theodore's voice in the clip just how disgusted he was by it all. Now, as we gain clarity in the aspects that led Theodore to take away the life of his lover, let's learn about the second victim and why he had to commit another murder.
Wrong time, wrong place. I told him about Nathan.
Yeah.
Dave thought that him and I were going to be together.
Yeah.
I told him about Nathan. And I told Dave that I was hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. And I told Dave I didn't want to hurt him. And I said, I wish that I could leave you in the room, like tied to the bed. But because I told you everything, you let Gail and tell everyone. And I didn't know what was going to happen with Nathan one way or another. I didn't know. I know that I was hoping that things would change. Because I just didn't understand.
So you're in the hotel room with Dave, and how is he, he's bound to the bed or tied to the bed?
Yeah.
Okay. And is he able to, like, manipulate? No. He can't do anything?
No.
Okay. And did he do that sort of voluntarily, or was that something that you decided to do?
David, well, more so now, he likes the whole SM and bondage type thing. And he was under the impression we were going to have.
Okay. So he thought there was going to be some sort of bondage situation. So he's in, what did you use was it duct tape as well?
Like, it wasn't duct tape. It wasn't gray.
Oh, okay. What was it?
It was like plastic tape. I mean, like clear tape.
Okay.
And cords from the hotel.
Cords? Okay.
Yeah.
So he's...
And
go on.
After I tied him up, I sat at the end of the bed and I told him I didn't want to be with him. So I wanted to be with Nathan.
Yeah.
And I told him, I don't know what's going to happen. But I said, well, if things go south, I knew what I was going to do. And then I told Dirty King, I said I didn't want to hurt him. And I told I wish he would just stay in the room.
Yeah.
And I thought about leaving him there, and then I said, no, he's gonna get out.
You didn't want him to get out?
No.
You mentioned you didn't want him to say what you had said about Nathan.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I used the tape and I taped it around his face.
Oh. Did you put anything in his mouth, or was it just tape?
Tape.
And did you kind of like wrap it around his whole head?
Yeah.
A couple times, or?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, did you Were you still in the room when he stopped moving, or did you leave, or how did that go out?
I left.
You left?
I left.
Was he able to make any noises, or kind of free himself?
No, I didn't hear any noises. And I went and picked up Nathan.
Okay.
In the back of my mind, it was that I knew that Dave wasn't breathing anymore.
David Hanford, also known as Dave, was one of Theodore's ex-lovers and the second victim. He had driven Theodore from New Jersey to New Hampshire to meet Nathan one last time after the breakup. Quite ironic, isn't it? Theodore had already obtained a machete before planning his trip to New Hampshire. Although he revealed his intention to kill Nathan to Dave during their journey, Theodore wasn't sure about David's loyalty and him keeping his mouth shut. Here's what's concerning. When you listen to or look at Theodore as a person talking about life, you might think he's a soft-spoken gentleman with no ounce of violence in his bones. Yet, here he is talking about how he duct-taped David and strangled him to death while he was tied to the bed.
Where I felt?
Sounds to me like you this was going and spiraling in that direction. You saw that, and you knew this wasn't going to end well.
I hoped.
Like you said, you were praying that things would work out well.
Honestly, I hoped that he would change, and like we were laying in the bed, and he's like, "This feels weird." And I said, "No." He said he feels like on her. I don't in the hotel room, I don't know how it started, but I know that I remember grabbing the knife, and he was going out the door, and I'm not sure, like when he was going out the door at first, I don't know if I hit him that first time, but I know he ran down the hall. He ran down the hall, and he got to the end of the hall, and he couldn't go anywhere else. And I started hitting him with the knife.
And why couldn't you go anywhere? Was there an elevator bay there, or there was no stairs? Or?
I think there were stairs, but I just don't think he was in a panic.
Yeah. And again, just so I understand, when you say hitting with a knife, it's coming down in like a slashing, kind of cutting motion. That's like,
like as if you're holding a hammer and you're hitting a nail.
Gotcha. And I know I asked you earlier. I said, well, what were you hitting? Like hands, arm,
everywhere.
You were
everywhere.
What were you trying to hit?
Anything.
Okay.
And he got past me. He started running down the hall, and I ran after him. And I think he got to the end. At some point, he went to grab a fire extinguisher. And I hit him with the knife, and he couldn't grab it. And then he ran downstairs. Thank you. He ran downstairs to the second floor. And we were on the second floor, and people were coming out of their rooms. And I was just hitting him with the knife whenever I can, whenever I could. Then, he got to the end of the hallway, and he tore the screen off the window and jumped out the window. And he landed on the bushes. And I ran downstairs. And I could see him trying to get into someone's car, but it was locked. Then I started to chase him again. He went to the lobby. And he went into like a back room in the lobby. And I just kept hitting him with the knife. And I just kept hitting him whenever I could, and then we went to a back room, and he tried to grab something and hit me with it. I don't know what it was. And then he ran out of the room, and he tried to like lock me in the room. And he's holding the door, and I'm pulling, and he's pulling. And finally, I get out the door, and that's when he goes to the front desk, behind the front desk. And he's behind the front desk. That's when I keep hitting him with the knife like several times. I was hitting everywhere. And that's when he started yelling out that he loved me.
There's a saying that it takes a lot of love to hate someone. Well, then, we can't comprehend the depth of the love Theodore had for Nathan to stab him 120 times. In this section of the interrogation, Theodore confesses that towards the end of his attack, Nathan screamed that he loved Theodore, but Theodore knew better. The feeling of rejection and betrayal is evident in his tone. He was determined with his plans and didn't doubt his decision for a second as he kept on chasing Nathan to ensure that he died at his hand. Avenging his broken heart, Theodore didn't hesitate to complete what he had started, and he seems quite content with what he did. There is no remorse that can be seen in this man. On November 7th, 2022, Theodore Luckey admitted guilt to first-degree murder charges.
I stand in this court today taking full responsibility for what I did.
He confessed to purposefully causing the death of Nathan Cashman, 28, by hacking him to death with a machete. Additionally, he confessed to a second count of first-degree murder for killing David Hanford, 60, by suffocation while he was tied to a bed. Theodore was sentenced to life without parole on the same day. As he left the court, Theodore blew a kiss to the victim's family, adding a disturbing layer to his mental state. From love to betrayal, affection to violence, Theodore's journey forces us to question the fragility of human emotions. Was it unmet expectations, rejection, or loneliness? His story reminds us of the delicate balance between love and despair, trust and betrayal. In Theodore's tale, we find a sobering lesson about the deep-rooted nature of human emotion and the swift turns life can take. Tell us how you feel about this case and add in your suggestions in the comment section below.
Are you kids here? You mind if you step in?
This is the exact moment Larissa realized her horrifying secret was about to be revealed. Detectives had expected to do a simple welfare check before they discovered what this evil mother had been hiding in her home. This investigation began with an unexpected 911 call. This call was made by Larissa's boyfriend's brother, Scott, from Pakistan.
Basically, it's kind of messed up the whole situation, but my brother told me something, and I just can't sleep at night. Basically, he told me that something happened with one of the kids.
The horrifying secret that kept this man awake all night and drove the police to Larissa's door was about to lead to a horrific discovery surrounding a little boy. In 2015, Larissa Rodriguez met Christopher on a dating app. Christopher, a single father of one, quickly moved in with Larissa just months after meeting her. Larissa is already overwhelmed with a large family, including 9 children and Christopher.
He's had custody of her, but she just had a little girl named Mia.
Okay.
And then I guess she's pregnant again.
Yeah.
They all have different daddies.
Okay. So the other 3, the oldest 3 are, well, the 16-year-old, the 19-year-old.
Angel.
They're with their
family.
Fathers.
Angel is with his daddy. Gilbert is with his grandmother.
And then Nevaeh is with
Dad.
Christopher Upton?
Yes.
Okay. And then the other 5 are in custody of children's
Well,
services.
4 because...
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And she is pregnant again. Is that from Christopher?
I'm pretty sure.
She was receiving child support payments and $750 a month in supplemental security income for her 5-year-old son, Jordan.
She used to use a website called mocospace.com. She had an app on her phone.
Is it MOCO?
Yeah.
MOCO space?
Yeah, it's basically MySpace. A big percentage of the popularity on that is Hispanic guys and women.
Christopher had been home for the majority of the time when Jordan was abused, and after that he was arrested on separate incidents. Police arrived at Larissa Rodriguez's residence on West 80th Street in Cleveland to investigate the disturbing claim, unaware that her boyfriend's brother, Scott R. Rodriguez, had tipped off the authorities that something heinous had happened to her child. She continued to act as if nothing had happened.
How many kids do you have?
I have 9 altogether,
Okay.
but I have some that don't live with me. But these are the ones that do live with me.
Okay.
Everything was seemingly off from the beginning. Why didn't all the children live with Larissa? The more she spoke, the more detectives began to worry.
Do you have a child with special needs?
Oh, Jordan? Yes, I do.
How old is Jordan?
Jordan, he is just turned 5.
Where's Jordan at?
He's with his dad. He's gonna be visiting for the holiday. He's not here with us right now, for the holiday.
Where's Dad at?
In Texas. He's not even here.
The calmness in Larissa's voice couldn't mask the chilling tension. The investigators knew they were on the brink of discovering a dark, hidden truth.
What's his dad's name, Jordan's dad?
Patrick. Pat.
Do you have a number to Patrick? Can you reach that?
We need a list of all your kids' names.
A list? Can I get a pen?
Sure. Or you could tell me.
Here, I'll write it down because it's a lot easier.
Okay. Firstborn, all the way down the line. Supposedly Jordan is with Dad
Yes,
in
he's
Texas.
with Dad.
We can call him?
Yeah.
Huh? Right now, I don't have the number because he was going to get a new number.
Okay. But he's got family, so we can
Yes.
talk to them.
The cracks in Larissa's story were widening, and the investigators could feel the weight of her deception. Her hesitation and excuses about contacting Jordan's father only deepened their suspicion. After her 9 partners and 9 children, she was in a relationship with a man named Christopher Rodriguez, who was currently in jail for failing to pay child support to her ex-partner. Since the detectives received a 911 call from Christopher's brother, they had to inquire and establish Christopher's involvement with Larissa and her kids.
Where's Christopher at?
He's in jail. He's been in jail. For child support. He's been in there since like October.
Is he here when the dog hit the lady?
Yeah.
That was
I
him,
think
right?
so.
Is that him?
Yeah. But he hasn't been in there. He's been in the Garner County. That's why I was surprised when my son came down. I said, "Police." I said, "Huh?"
So Christopher's been in jail for how long?
Since October.
Since October.
Yeah. He's been in the diner county.
And look,
He's been there October 20.
what's his last name?
Huh?
What's Christopher's last
Rodriguez.
name? Rodriguez?
Mm-hmm.
Is that your husband?
No, we're not legally married.
Gotcha.
The investigators could feel the web of lies tightening around them, each thread leading closer to a harrowing truth. Their concerns grew as they observed the condition of Larissa's home. Upon seeing how Larissa kept the house itself, detectives grew concerned from the very beginning. Reports from social workers had previously highlighted the unsanitary and deplorable living conditions, with one account noting a child eating a sandwich which had a cockroach in it. If you think that's bad, Larissa's ex-boyfriend Jacob Wagner had even more disturbing revelations.
She just stopped cleaning the house. The kids were always dirty. I always had to give them baths, feed them. She only fed certain kids more than the others.
FBI and medical examiner investigators spent about 3 hours digging in the backyard of Larissa Rodriguez's home. And there was Jordan. His little body, that had been decomposing for 3 months now, was buried in garbage bags deep in the very backyard he played in. Autopsy was yet to be done at this point, but just from the surface, his body was riddled in the signs of neglect and abuse. Larissa Rodriguez's sister, Anna Rodriguez, shared a grim tale of what Jordan endured. She revealed that Jordan had once been tied up with a sock in his mouth.
Around there, yes. I can't remember exactly day because...
Why did he have a sock in his mouth?
I don't know.
Did he say something he wasn't supposed to?
That boy don't speak. When I lived there, he didn't speak. All he did, he had a habit of taking off his diaper and kind of doing gross stuff with it, like on a wall or whatever. But how does he know any better if you don't show him any better, right? And if you leave him locked up in this room all day and not around his siblings, how is he going to know any better? Okay?
Many people, including Larissa's son, had told detectives that Larissa would leave Jordan for hours in the closet, sometimes nearing fatality due to neglect.
Which brother was bad?
Boo-boo.
So if he was bad, then who had to sit in the closet?
Boo-boo.
He did? For how long?
10 minutes.
For 10 minutes?
Did Jordan ever sit in there? Yeah? Just when he was bad? Did they ever close the door or leave it open?
They closed it.
Was it dark in there? Yeah?
This was confirmed by Larissa's own sister.
In your opinion, did she mistreat Jordan?
Yes, he was the outcast. Everyone was doing something and he was always in a room by himself in a diaper, or he was to put on a show, she always put him in the crib when I came over. But I would notice she would hurry up and pick him up. Yeah, he was the outcast in the family.
Okay? That's why she's mad at me. Because I won't let her do what the hell she's doing to them kids. When I was told the day that I moved out of her home by Karen Custard that she beat that baby with a bat.
Karen Custard said?
Yes, the day that I moved out.
Okay. Beat the baby with what?
With a bat.
A bat?
Yes. Her friend Cindy told me yesterday that she went over to the house. This man was beating Jordan with the belt so bad that she got in the middle of it and he was about to beat her up.
All right, and who said this?
Cindy.
Cindy?
When Larissa realized all the blame was coming to her, she tried to split and divert the blame towards Chris. She claimed he was the abusive one and she was the victim here.
No matter how bad my little ones can act up, I never had that in me to hit my kids. But I think I was just so scared because I used to get my ass by Chris just because I defended my kids. My daughter, my oldest daughter, my oldest son can tell you, my older son had to pull a knife on him because he put his hands on me the way he did.
I walked in and she was trying to potty train Jordan. And she was calling him a what else? She made fun of his, the size of his head. He had a lazy eye. She would call him cross-eyed. She would tell him she would want to smack him in the face because he looks like his dad. But when I walked into that door, she shoved it in the kid's mouth and shoved him in the corner because he was crying because she hit him and put him in the corner. And that just turned into a complete argument right there. She threw me out. I called 696 Kids. I ended up going back again because I was scared.
As the details emerged, the reality of Jordan's suffering became undeniable. He was trapped in a home where he was treated as less than human by the very person who was supposed to protect him. Throughout the interrogation, Larissa's emotions seemed to shift between fake sorrow, fake fear, and hidden anger.
Just self-defending myself because he went and literally choked me, put me in the kitchen, slammed me against stuff, had a knife in his hand. I found something, I don't know whether it was a screwdriver or something. I just grabbed something and just got him right in the
police
head.
out to the house? Somebody called?
No, nobody. Right. Nobody. And that's what gets me is that street is so highly protected by police that why didn't somebody? I mean, I even tried to jump out the window, trying to get some help from somebody. I feel like I couldn't even leave my house. And then when I sat there screamed, he put a sock in my mouth. So I couldn't. And then was sitting there screaming, like I'm screaming, and he's sitting there choking me.
While the reality was that Larissa was an evil, narcissistic, and manipulative person to begin with. Her words felt insincere, showing a more evil side as she tried to avoid taking full responsibility for her actions and the pain her children went through.
And I admit in my past, that's part of one of my counseling. I've had bad relationships, and it's a pattern. Yeah. It's a pattern, and that was something me and my counselor was working on. And this just happened to be another one that just...
Well, he might have been the worst one.
Yeah. I think it was.
You do know we're going to go talk to Chris. Have you talked to him at all during this time?
No.
Talked to him before you were put in jail?
I talked to him. It was the same day you guys all came. I mean, not you guys, but when they came to the house. And to me, it just seemed like he didn't care, But in my heart, something told me that he had something to do with this. Because every time after this happened, I just hated him. I hated everything. I just couldn't stand to be around him.
Did you ever see her discipline Jordan in a way that you felt like was just completely wrong? Yeah. Apart from the incident where she put the sock in his mouth?
Yeah, she there was a couple times I walked in the house, that poor boy sitting there with the, I fold the socks and it's thick at the one end. She shoved that in his mouth. I would walk in the house, pull it out. What the f*** And, Mariana knows. He got hit, beat. He was close to Mariana.
Her story about Jordan's last moments reveals a chilling truth. Her own guilt hidden behind fake emotions. His angry eyes, his final breath. She tries to cover up the secrets she can't escape. Jordan was born prematurely on November 5th, 2012, with many health problems. Despite his challenges, the school district tried to help him with an individualized education plan because of his developmental delays and nonverbal condition. However, Larissa withdrew from school on September 13, 2016, claiming they were moving out of state. Jordan's last medical care was recorded in November 2015. When questioned about her son, Larissa repeatedly said he was out of town. Finally, when confronted with the possibility that he was buried in her backyard, she admitted what had happened. On September 21st, Christopher brought Jordan to Larissa in a semi-conscious state. She tried to revive him with a cold shower and then laid him in bed for 24 hours, stating she wanted to be close to him. The next morning, Jordan was dead. Instead of calling 911, Larissa and Christopher dug a hole, wrapped Jordan in blankets, garbage bags, and a duffel bag, and buried him in the backyard. Photos were presented as evidence, showing the time and effort they took to bury Jordan rather than seeking help. During further questioning, Larissa claimed she suffered abuse at the hands of Christopher, which extended to her children, but she provided no details. If it weren't for Scott Rodriguez, who called the police from Pakistan on December 19, 2017, Jordan might still be buried in that backyard. If Scott had never made that fateful call from Pakistan, would Jordan's tragic story have remained buried forever? Although Larissa Rodriguez was the one charged, do you believe others turned a blind eye to the suffering of this innocent child? What do you think went through Larissa's mind each time she thought about Jordan, knowing what she had done? Let us know your thoughts. We love to hear from you. If there's a case you'd like us to cover, don't hesitate to drop your recommendations in the comment section below.
To make it dramatic.
DNA?
What do you mean, what type of DNA?
What type of DNA you guys have?
Oh, a buccal swab.
A buccal swab from my mouth?
Yeah.
And how are you going to get that?
Judge will order it with a search warrant.
Yeah. Out my mouth?
Yeah.
A search warrant to get DNA out my mouth. How do that sound?
What do you mean, how does it sound? We do it every day.
Yeah, okay.
Sipping on the bottle and arguing with the detective. That's how they acquire his DNA. That's exactly what you just saw. Meet 19-year-old Kenneth Thomas, an underrated genius that deserves his due fame. With a defense as genuine as a $3 bill, one suspect has made up his mind that he can outsmart the detective with his intelligence. Spoiler alert, it's not going to end well for our would-be genius. But first, let's understand the context of the case better. On January 13, 2015, the Milwaukee Police Department was informed about a fatal shooting of a gas station clerk that very night. The victim, 65-year-old Saeed Sharwani, a father of 4, was a Citgo station clerk who dialed 911 to report a robbery in the store, but all he could manage to say was, why?
City 911, what's the address of your emergency? Hello? Hello?
Kenneth Thomas, 19, was taken into custody in West Allis less than 10 hours after the robbery and homicide at the Citgo gas station on White Rock Avenue. Kenneth, a convicted felon, was arrested by the West Allis Police Department Tactical Unit during a search warrant operation related to the robbery investigation by the Milwaukee Police Department. The Waukesha Police Department suspected Kenneth and his associates of involvement in at least 6 robberies at the time, across 4 jurisdictions: West Allis, Milwaukee, Brookfield, and Waukesha. Another individual, Jerica Cotton, 23, was arrested and was in custody. Police Chief Russell Jack stated that Jerica was the getaway driver for Kenneth and another male suspect during the crime. The third suspect authorities identified, 28-year-old Darren Malone, was untraceable initially, but eventually was arrested and taken into custody. In today's video, we're focusing on Kenneth Thomas and his rather remarkable efforts to play the genius, all while hilariously failing his way through the job.
What our job is to make sure we understand why things happen the way they happen so the right decision is made on how to deal with it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't want people making decisions based on the wrong information. Okay? And there's information, obviously, that you have that can help us understand the circumstances of what's going on. Why just you?
Yeah, why don't nobody else have this information that could help you, Congress?
Well, there are other people that have the information, and we have people out there going to talk to them if they're not talking to them right now. Okay?
So who all was brung here? Just me?
You said on paper, right?
Yeah.
So you've been around the block.
Yeah.
You know how things
What
work.
you mean around the block?
All right. Well, there's some things that we need to talk about. Things that we'd like to clear up. So let's get to it, okay? I know I got your name, address, all that fun stuff on the way here. A couple things I forgot to ask you about. How far did you get to school?
I dropped out at 12th grade.
12th grade? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you try to get GED or HSED or anything like that?
Yeah.
How'd that work?
I'm feeling it, just because all the things happening in my family, it's been a lot of deaths.
Okay.
A lot of people going to jail.
Okay.
The family just breaking apart.
So a lot of stress out there in your life?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay. So you got that, you're helping your mother out with her business, you're going to school, you're working on your own business ideas, so you got a lot of things going on.
Hell yeah.
Okay, understand that. Part of the evidence that they found was that gun, those bullets, some clothes, okay. They also found other items in there, like a mask, a green mask.
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd that green mask come from?
Swear I couldn't tell you where the fuck no green mask came from. Like I said, man, them guys, man, they came back there that night, man. They was rowdy up, man.
Mm-hmm.
They was really, like you can tell, like, when somebody done did something or something, I knew they did something, I just don't know what they did, though.
Okay.
They came back. I got high, man. I got high and fell asleep, man.
Well, now that we've been talking, what do you think they did out here in Waukesha?
Man, they did a mask, a gun, they robbed somebody, man. They robbed somebody, probably came back and threw the evidence off on us, man.
Okay. That's what you think happened?
Yeah, because if they not caught, if they didn't get, caught, where they gone. You know what I mean? They gone.
Right.
So they out and about still having fun while somebody else going down. They did.
Okay.
That's exactly what happened.
Okay.
As the interrogation begins, Kenneth's demeanor reveals a fascinating psychological dynamic. His inquiries about other suspects lack finesse, appearing as a rather transparent attempt to assess the severity of his situation. Despite facing past charges of burglaries and theft, Kenneth vehemently denies any involvement, displaying a level of denial similar to a child caught red-handed stealing from a cookie jar. Furthermore, despite a substantial body of evidence pointing to his guilt, Kenneth remains steadfast in his denial. His refusal to acknowledge the overwhelming proof against him just makes his guilt more obvious to the detectives. Now the detectives have a strong foundation to build the rest of the interrogation on. By doing this, Kenneth has taken away the benefit of the doubt. Kenneth's behavior in the interrogation room highlights his desperate attempts to evade responsibility through denial and deception. However, his efforts are transparent to the detectives, who see through his facade.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that's what the evidence shows.
Hold on, run it back. What you say? You said the evidence that what?
The evidence and the information that we learned from everybody we talked to shows that you were in on that robbery in Waukesha.
Yeah, how was I in on it?
How was you in on it?
Yeah, you got my prints. You got my prints, my face on camera.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
I like to see all that.
Huh? Well, I don't have it with me right now, obviously. Okay.
Right. Why you don't have it with you though? Let's check this out.
Okay.
If that was me,
mm-hmm.
why wouldn't you have all the evidence pointing out in front of us?
You want to see all the surveillance video right now? Obviously, we don't have one in the room.
Surveillance with my face direct on it.
Yes, we do. We have that.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
So why you didn't show me pictures? Why you didn't show me pictures like this is you on this?
Pictures?
Yeah.
This is the gun at your house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the gun in the diaper box. The shoes that you were wearing. This is the mask that you were wearing. Okay. There's several hundred photographs. I didn't get them all. I thought you'd be bored with lots of photographs. Okay. Where'd your pajamas go? Pajamas you were wearing that night. I had a picture of that too.
Yeah.
Well, it's on inventory. There you are, jump on the counter, wearing the pajamas, the shoes with the gun, and the mask. Okay?
Okay,
The big thing here is the most important is what happened during the robbery.
What happened during the robbery?
Well, you know, you were there.
If I know, I would have told you.
Okay.
Don't you think? I don't have a problem. Listen, I don't have a problem. Listen, let me tell you this, first of all. My life,
okay,
since I was born. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Hold on. You keep interrupting me. I don't like that. You want to get information. You want to get the truth. Let me talk.
Okay.
Hear what I'm saying. You just doing this. Okay. I can't talk like that.
Okay.
Listen. I'm like this from the start, man. I've been trying to make a way and do this, be good. Listen. I ain't never had shit. I ain't never gonna be. Listen, y'all the good guys. Y'all the ones that come to their job and play good cop, bad cop. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? See, me, you know what I play every day? Survival. Any day coming out my door, I could be a dead man. They could have came in and killed us. It was a gun found. Don't know who gun it was, but listen, it was a gun found. The items were found in my room. Daryl and the other guy you talking about, they could have been their items.
Okay.
They could have stashed that in there before they left.
Okay.
But y'all got them in custody?
Yeah.
Y'all got them in custody? I wonder how y'all get them in custody.
How did we?
Yeah, how did you get them in custody?
We found them.
They weren't in my house, though. So where did you get them in custody?
Where they were at.
Where was it?
Across the hall.
Across the hall. So y'all went in theirs first and then mine?
No, we got them in custody after the search warrant, after you were already in custody.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you got your guys.
We got a lot of guys.
Yeah, you got your two main guys who did it, though.
Well, we got a lot of guys because there's been more than just the Robbie and Walker show.
Damn. So what else been going on?
Robberies in Milwaukee, robberies in West Dallas, robberies in Brookfield.
So you got all the guys, huh?
No, not quite all of them. We're still looking for the white guys involved, too.
Yeah, and you expected me, and you expecting I'm one of them.
You're obviously not one of the white guys that I'm looking for.
I'm not talking about the white guy.
Okay.
I'm saying me.
Right.
You think I'm one of them. You don't know for sure yet until you get the DNA back on those.
No, that'll just confirm what we already know.
That'll confirm. So if it don't confirm it, then what?
We already have enough evidence.
It's not enough evidence.
Okay.
Those evidence was put there by
There's also evidence from other robberies that was found in your apartment.
Yeah, like what?
Lottery tickets.
Lottery tickets? How you know that one? Like, back to what I was saying. How do you know those guys didn't put that there and find their way out, shoot back to Chicago where they belong, where they come from?
Did they hide the lottery tickets?
I'm saying, I don't know where
in Levante's bedroom?
Huh? You said, did they?
Yeah.
I don't know what they did.
Okay.
I was too high to even know what they did. I fell asleep that night like I told you.
The problem is all the other evidence puts you there.
It don't.
Shooting that man.
You
we need to understand.
Listen, you ain't got my fingerprints, man. You don't got my face.
Okay.
You don't got my face. Because if you did, it wasn't nothing to be to talk about, right?
There is something very important to talk about, Kenneth.
What, the story, how it happened? That's what you want, a story.
I want to find out whether what you did was intentional or an accident.
How does that mean?
I know it's you. The evidence knows it's you.
How does it mean?
The witnesses know it's you.
What witness?
Okay, so now we have to determine in that gas station, when the gun went off, was that something you wanted to do? Or that was something accidental?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
That's what we need to determine.
I really don't know what you're talking about. If that was me, how did I get out there? How did I get back? I need to see all this. I need to see everything.
You'll eventually see it.
Listen, you gotta have everything add up to me.
We do.
So you would know then if you did.
What do you mean I would know? I already know. I told you I already know what happened. The only thing I need to know is when you pulled the trigger, was it on accident? Or was it on purpose?
No, I didn't shoot any trigger.
That's the only question we have here.
I just told you your question. I didn't shoot anybody. I wasn't there at the scene. Those guys that you got, they put them items there. Shit, what the hell would I know? You guys may put the items there.
Why would Walker put items in your house?
Shit, why would you shoot a flashbang through the window if you knowing there's a baby in the house?
What if they don't know the baby's there?
What's the difference? Now,
this is the point, okay? We have evidence. We have witnesses.
You don't have a witness.
We don't.
You don't.
No?
No. You don't. You don't have enough evidence. You just have the evidence that was done. Then what fucks it up is you got the other guys.
What do you mean I have the other guys?
The guys that did it.
Yeah. You and Darren did it.
Betty and Darren did it. All I do is something with somebody I barely even know.
But you've been kicking with him. You even let him stay in your apartment. You guys
it was
together.
Agreement.
Exactly.
He just spent a night there.
You probably spent over a week there.
Listen, I know I said he'd been coming there over a week. He comes over. I let him stay sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Which meaning not let him spend the night. I let him stay like, okay, I could go somewhere he could be still there.
Okay.
Get it?
It's fine. So doesn't mean you guys can't go out and jack a place.
Yeah, it does. Mama told me better than that.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. You keep saying I shot a guy. I don't even know what the if I so-called shot this guy, where's you don't even have that's not enough evidence, man. You just got some put there. My DNA not on none of that.
Well, we'll find that out, won't we?
Yeah, we will. We will find that out. You need my DNA to get it.
Nope.
Yeah. Unless you got prints. You don't got those.
We don't need prints either.
You need prints.
We got everything else.
No, you don't.
DNA and prints are icing on the cake. That's where Hollywood comes in. That's where all that drama on Hollywood TV that you see, they have all that stuff to make it dramatic.
What type of DNA?
What do you mean, what type of DNA?
What type of DNA you guys have? What need?
What do you mean, what
you
type?
Just said
everybody has unique DNA.
Okay. So, in order to know that's my DNA, you have to have something of my DNA.
Yeah, we'll get it from you.
Yeah, how you gonna do that? Voluntary or forced?
Oh, we got a search warrant.
So you're not understanding.
Right.
DNA. What type of DNA you guys need?
Oh, a buccal swab.
A buccal swab from my mouth?
Yeah.
And how are you gonna get that?
Judge will order it with a search warrant.
Yeah. Out my mouth?
Yeah.
A search warrant to get DNA out of my mouth. How does that sound?
What do you mean, how does it sound? We do it every day.
Yeah, okay. Well, hey, listen. Man, it was nice. It was a pleasure meeting you, man. You got your guys, but you don't get me. I'm not one of them. I'm most definitely not one of them. So, listen.
The evidence shows differently, Kenneth. I'm trying to figure out why.
Yeah. The evidence shows differently?
Yeah.
Oh, so be it. That's all. If that's me. Listen, go ahead, throw the book at me, do what you got to do.
It's not my decision to make.
All right, you part of it.
I collect the information, right? That's my job, right?
What was taken?
You said to do my job, right?
What was taken? Just robbery and murder and all that. What was taken?
Money.
So where's the money?
Where's the money?
Yeah.
Some of it bought some loud.
Where's the rest?
Where's the rest?
Yeah.
Divide it up.
And so you got money off of people?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you did, man.
The money collected at the search warrant.
Where is that?
On inventory in Milwaukee.
You ain't got no money, man. You ain't got no money. You ain't got no money, man. You ain't got enough evidence that leading back to me, man. Like I said, my word against your word. I'm telling you, that's
the thing, Kenneth. It's not my word. None of this is my word. And that's where people get confused about the police's role, okay? Our job is to collect information, all right? Remember before when I explained to you that we remain neutral, we stay in the middle, and we listen to everybody, what they have to say on all sides? I said that before. I explained that to you, right? And when I listen to what people have to say, if things don't match up, I have to understand why they don't match up. If things don't match up, it tells me that someone's not being truthful. So then I have to go by the evidence that's been found. And the evidence leads us to the truth, okay? And when I have evidence that shows something contrary to what you're saying, something different from what you're saying, that tells me that you're not being entirely truthful, okay? I can't change that. It is what it is.
Just a safety pin behind it.
Okay.
Might want to get that before you say I tried to break out.
Okay.
Guys are so funny.
So it comes down to this. Based on the evidence we have.
You ain't charged with that. That's not mine.
See, Kenneth, we want to give you an opportunity here.
I know. Come on, let's stop. You just making things worse in there.
Trying to help you understand.
It's a big difference whether this was intentionally or an accident. That's a big
You know the best thing in life to have?
What's that?
Or to happen? Death. Let me tell you why death is the best thing. Because there's no more suffering.
In this pivotal moment of the interrogation, the detective unveils one of his ace cards. Jerica Cottons, questioned prior to Kenneth, had already come clean about her role as the getaway driver for Kenneth and Darren from the Citgo gas station where the shootout ensued. The detective drops a bombshell referring to footage capturing the trio's return to Kenneth's residence following the burglary and shootout on the same day. With little wiggle room left, Kenneth succumbs and eventually spills the beans. On May 4th, 2016, Kenneth entered a guilty plea to charges of felony murder and armed robbery that took place at a Citgo gas station in Waukesha in February 2015. As a repeat offender, he struck a deal that involved testifying against 29-year-old Darren Malone. The Waukesha County judge imposed a 45-year sentence on Kenneth, comprising 35 years for the second-degree murder of Saeed Sharwani and 10 years for a string of armed robberies. Additionally, he received a further 20 years of extended supervision in connection to the fatal shooting. As the curtain falls on this fascinating interrogation, we're left to identify the fine line between justice and consequence. Through the lens of Kenneth's journey, we've witnessed the power struggle between the seasoned detective and the cunning suspect, each wielding their own arsenal of tactics and wit. But beneath the surface lies a deeper narrative, one that begs reflection and introspection. What drives Kenneth's intricate attempt to deceive? Is it fear, desperation, or something deeper within his psyche? And in the face of such adversity, what fuels the detective's unyielding resolve and steady hand? As Kenneth's story unfolds, we're compelled to confront our own perceptions of morality and justice. What's your opinion about this specific suspect? Do let us know in the comments section below.
911 is John. What's the address emergency?
Hi, there is an emergency. I found something in my son's closet wrapped in a plastic bag.
Okay, what was it?
I think it's a human head.
It's a what?
I think it's a human head.
It all started on February 28, 2021, with an accident at the Colorado River post-midnight.
How do we call a tow for that? I don't know, because he'd have to get in the friggin' water.
Everything seemed innocent enough. A 19-year-old's adventure turned into an accident, and his two loving parents came to the rescue. So what could have gone wrong with this story? Well, to begin with, there was some evidence that the emergency responders found in Brian's car that suggested otherwise. Even his parents were a bit suspicious about Brian. When Brian's parents were brought into the sheriff's office for questioning after Brian's arrest, they decided to open up more, and things started to add up from the night Brian's car fell into the river.
So he called me this morning and he said, found a wallet in Brian's car. Oh, and the officers thought that there was blood on his car. Okay. The night that it was in the river. Okay. The scene, and, he had just had a procedure done on his armpit a few days before, so I thought, maybe the adrenaline opened that back up, and that's where it came from. I don't know. And he said, I don't know where it came from. And he took special effects class last summer, which involved fake blood. Okay. And he's like, one of those fake blood containers first in my trunk is probably that. And I was like, okay, that makes perfect sense. So we have the car towed back to the address. And of course, with the battery being wet, nothing was operating. And so my husband was cleaning out the car because he was going to take it into Scotty's to see if they could maybe salvage it. Okay. And he found the wallet.
Although Terry tried hard to believe what her son said and make peace with what she'd seen, Brian's father, Brian Kohi Sr., added a few more observations that were concerning.
Went back out there this morning just to continue, and I opened the glove box and there was a knife in the glove box, underwater. The glove box is full of water. Very large knife. And then as I go around the passenger door, I open the passenger door and there's a wallet in between this door and I open up. That's not Brian's wallet. It's frozen solid. That's not Brian's wallet. So I take him inside. I end up getting one of the wallets of cards out. There's a label ready. I read that. So I called label ready. And then another one, there was a social security card. I was like, hey, this is a weird call, but I've got a wallet here with so-and-so's name, and I'm hoping he works for you all, or you subbed him out or whatever. Oh yeah, my one, we've been missing him. He didn't show up today. I'm like, oh my God, I'm a missing person. Okay, well I found his wallet at Blue Hen Boat Ramp. So here's my name, here's all my information. If you get a hold of him, tell him I've got his wallet here at my house. Okay, so I left that like that. Called Brian. Brian, what's going on? Why is there a wallet in the car? Oh, I found it down at the boat ramp when I was down there walking around. And he was so sincere. I took it all. I want to believe him. He's my son. Sure. We found out Brian happened, and all this going on in the last 2 days. How come you didn't tell us about the wallet? Dad, I was just so excited with all the goings on. My car getting towed. Look at this wet now. It won't start. I just didn't think about it. I didn't think it was important, Dad. I'm like, Brian, who is this Warren whatever guy? Dad, I swear to you, I only know one Warren. He's my school friend. It's not him. I believed him. There's blood on the bumper. Right. And I'm like a smear of blood. And I'm like, that didn't come from that cut. And I asked him, right, tell me the truth. I knew. I didn't want to believe it. Something was going on. Had that gut feeling.
As their suspicions grew, Brian's father called the organization on the ID, People's Ready, about Warren Barnes' wallet that was found in Brian's car and found that he was indeed missing. An investigation was started to find 69-year-old Warren Barnes. He was homeless but was quite popular in downtown Grand Junction. There were already a number of people looking for him the day after Brian's car went into the river.
Where's Brian now?
I think he's still outside.
And you're in the backyard now?
I am, yes, because I don't want him to hear me.
As Brian's mother spoke with the responders about her grim discovery and the horrifying secrets her son had been hiding from her, she pointed out two things. First, Brian had an interest in dark and morbid subjects, which he was channeling into preparing for a career as a crime scene investigator. Second, she emphasized that she did not think Brian would be violent if approached. These 2 points are crucial and will become more significant as the facts of the case come to light. But how did Brian's mother find the dismembered head in Brian's room?
And he has a Rubbermaid container in his closet. And so I just kind of started digging through going, what is this mess? Like moms do. And I saw a plastic bag, a white plastic trash bag. And I was like, what in the world does he have in here? And I picked it up and it was heavy. And I held it in my hand. And I was like, what in the world is this? What in the world? Is it like maggots covering something? Or I don't know. I better take it in the sink. So I carried it out to the sink, and it was double bagged. So I ripped open one bag, and I saw gold blood. Okay. And I'm like, I ripped open the second bag. It was blood in the head. Okay. It's so beautiful. So I didn't open the second bag. Okay.
Based on her 911 call, when detectives finally go to their residence to check the claims, Brian is already there. Observe how Brian reacts when a detective approaches him and asks about the claims made by his parents.
What's going on, man? So, parents have some concerns of some stuff they may have found in your room?
Yeah, I believe so.
And what would it be?
a human head and hands.
For a 19-year-old, Brian is rather calm, even after admitting to having the head and hands of a man in his closet. His calmness is in fact disturbing to watch. Brian says at once that he's going to cooperate with the detectives. Although he does admit to having these dismembered parts of a man, he also seems to sound proud of his work. The detective nevertheless decides to see for himself.
I'm gonna have you walk over here. You're gonna sit in the back of my partner's patrol car for a minute, okay? Not yet. Okay. Just sit back there and hang out for me, okay? Can you walk me inside, please?
Let's walk you all through this, what happened today, Kenny. Okay. Let me do it. You go inside.
Well, let's stay out here with me for a minute.
Sit down. Come on, sit down, baby.
Can I go in there and verify here first?
Oh, yeah, please. We haven't seen it. Yeah, we
Okay.
haven't looked at it. It's under the towel in the sink.
Okay.
Yeah, Annie, stay with your mother. Give her a hug.
Just make sure that guy goes in the car first.
I can stay here. You can go in the sink, right? I had a bag feeling about what happened this weekend.
Okay.
And she said there's a bag in this closet, and she opened it up. And she called me and said, get over here right now. I covered it with the towel.
Okay.
So I didn't want him to see it, because we didn't want him to run. I don't want to look at it.
Yeah.
After finding the head in the sink, if you are thinking that this can't get any worse, you're wrong. With the evidence found in Brian's car along with the severed head in the plastic bag, it was now confirmed that Warren was not missing, but had been murdered and dismembered by Brian himself.
Underneath this side? I was on this side underneath the bridge.
Okay.
Where I did it.
So, it just did that trailer, so I don't lose track of what I'm at here. It's okay. I don't push it. Glare.
Tell me to drop lights.
Good.
I hope I'm being cooperative.
Oh, you're doing great.
No use.
So you could have just walked over here.
I could have. It's no use trying to deceive the
So if that's north, that'll be east, so it's more on the west side of Crosby.
It is the west side.
And you threw... What all did you throw while you were there? I mean, how many pieces am I looking for?
There are 2 pieces of arm. This section and this section.
Okay.
Just in this general area. I couldn't say where they are.
Under Broadway at Crosby.
And then the body, you know where Blue Heron is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was done there.
Okay.
As we now move to observe Brian's interrogation, you'll see that his detailed accounts of the way the crime was committed, his well-articulated rationale, and his personality are quite intriguing. Brian's willingness to casually admit to taking someone's life without any display of remorse or concern for the victim's suffering is a hallmark of a disturbed psyche. Let's take a closer look at his interrogation.
So start back at the beginning and go slow and tell me as many details as you can remember.
So, because I mean, Murray going to jail for the 15 years probably.
I have no idea.
Because
we're at the beginning.
It's murder. I mean, I'm going to jail for 20 probably, but so I figure, well, I fight it.
Okay. So what's important to me is to learn as much about you and what you did and as I can.
Well,
as many details as you can give me, the better.
I drive a 2007 Ford 500.
Okay.
And I keep a small 18-inch bat in there for self-defense. And I'm cruising around for an hour and a half. So I fill up on gas halfway through. And I'm eventually driving underneath the bridge near the sheriff's office. You know, like how...
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
And Brian, before you start, you say you have a major depressive disorder. I'm just curious what those are.
Well, actually, I have several. I have high-functioning Asperger's.
Okay.
I have ADHD and major depressive disorder.
Okay.
Major depressive, so you were wondering what that last one is?
Yeah, I know what they are. I was curious, what the exact diagnosis was and who diagnosed them.
It was Brett Phillips from Lotus Counseling.
Brett Phillips from which counseling?
Lotus Counseling. It was I want to say years ago.
Okay.
And he said, looks like you have major depressive disorder. I could be wrong. He could have not formally diagnosed me, but that's what he told me I have.
Brian's coldness towards the crime during the interrogation highlights several key points. Instead of showing anxiety or remorse, his relaxed demeanor suggests a disconnect from the seriousness of his crime. Notably, when asked about himself, he immediately mentions his weapons and their link to the murder, indicating an obsession with violence and a desire to be seen as a psychopath. Unlike typical teenagers who might talk about school or hobbies, he reveals a disturbing fixation. He also acknowledges having mental health issues, which could provide investigators with valuable insight into his mindset, though it's too early to link these issues directly to the murder.
So I put on 3 on one hand. I took the knife, I pulled back the canvas, and I stabbed his neck.
Okay.
He was panicking at first in his old man voice. He was in his 50s. I know why I call him old man. He was saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Ah!" And I just kept on stabbing his neck. Is it okay if I do a demonstration?
Oh, yeah.
This is him. I was straddled on top of him like this.
Okay.
And he couldn't fight back. It was actually surprisingly easy. I was barely breaking a sweat. I thought, oh, this guy, he's going to be tough. But no, it was actually surprisingly easy.
Brian's detailed recounting of the crime, from selecting the victim to his description of the murder and the handling of the body, suggests a desire to relive or prolong the experience. This fixation might stem from psychological issues. It's not uncommon for some murderers to obsessively recount their actions, seeking control over their thoughts and memories. Additionally, repeating the crime for detectives may give him a perverse sense of satisfaction or power, often linked to a need to establish dominance and control over others.
During the time I was growling and making animalistic noises.
Why were you doing that?
I suppose it was a frenzy.
Okay.
I was so excited, so rushed up on adrenaline and everything. Like just, woo-hoo. And I paused and he said, "Why are you doing this?" And I said, "I've been wanting to do this for a long time, murder someone." And then I continued. The whole ordeal lasted about a minute and a half.
Okay.
Brian's use of an animalistic voice and his excitement while describing the murder suggests a disturbing pleasure in killing, indicating sadistic tendencies. His long-held desire for murder, combined with a lack of empathy or remorse, reveals a profound detachment from others' suffering and raises questions about his capacity for empathy and other normal human emotions. Additionally, his precise recollection of the murder's duration points to a meticulous and methodical approach to the crime.
Speaking out my mind at that moment, it was like pouring out of the mind.
Were you worried about, this looks like it's pretty close to the road and stuff, somebody seeing you or catching you?
It was 11 p.m., so not many were driving by. Well, it was behind the pillar. So like here's the road.
Uh-huh.
It was here. So people would only see a brief thing here and here.
So were you worried about them seeing you?
I was worried about one of them stopping. But
what did you think would happen if somebody...
Well, if they looked, well, it was quite dark under there, so they wouldn't have seen the guy unless they looked. They would have seen me holding a bloody 12-inch knife, wearing gloves, and wearing a mask to conceal my identity, face mask.
Okay. So you weren't doing it for COVID, you were doing it to hide your face?
Partially. Social distancing.
I noticed you got a cut on your hand. Is that from...
Oh, that was when I was doing gas, when I filled up. I mentioned I filled up gas when I was driving around.
Okay.
I was driving around, I was on a quarter of a tank, so I filled up on gas. What happened was, because I don't want to be seen in a gas station with a knife poking out of my pocket, I put it in the car, the back seat floor. When I'm done with it, I try and grab it, but my hand slips and grabs the blade, and as I pick it up, it slices these 2 fingers.
Okay. Because a lot of times if you're stabbing like this, it'll slice.
No, that knife had a guard. It was one of those knives that was
Where is it?
Huh? The knife?
Where is it? Yeah.
My dad had it.
Okay.
He found it in my car. And then, let's see. Yeah. And then after that, I stripped his clothes. I cut open his belly to see his guts. They're really pink.
Brian's revelation that his father found the murder weapon in the car's back seat suggests a disorganized nature and a tendency to be easily distracted. This disorganization extends beyond typical ADHD symptoms. Strikingly, Brian openly confesses to disemboweling his victim with excitement, vividly comparing the act to his imagination. This behavior indicates a disturbing detachment from his actions and a concerning level of excitement derived from the violence, raising questions about his fascination with morbidity and what kind of gratification he receives from violence.
And then I cut off his head. I gave him a Glasgow smile. What's that? A Joker smile. Destroyed his eyes by stabbing them in.
Okay.
And then I cut off his hands. I put those in plastic Ziploc bags. And then I cut off his right arm at this joint and at this joint. And then at this arm, I tried cutting it here, and then I tried cutting it here, but what happened was I accidentally broke his bone. This one, it was poking out, and so I left that one here, partially cut, dismembered here, bone sticking out. And then I left his body there, and then I took the head, put it in a leftover box from the dinner a few nights ago. And then I took the hands, put them in the back, drove home, hid the hands and head in my room, cleaned the knife, threw away the garbage with the blood on it.
How long do you really, honestly think you've been thinking about really at some point you wanted to know what murder felt like?
A year.
Okay. All right. And you said you read books?
I read books. I have a book on forensics.
Okay. Did you read the book, the Ted Bundy book?
No, I have not read the Ted Bundy book.
Okay.
I
probably have seen excerpts. Have you seen little comments from it or things like that?
I'm not sure what book you're talking about.
The one you mentioned, the whole stuff about Ted Bundy. A lot has been written.
No, it was on the internet.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And Pete has studied him too. Yeah. So.
Crazy.
Do you know who Ed
Gein?
No, Ed in California. Ed
Tampa.
Yeah. Studied him?
I know of him. He was a Goliath. He was 6'9", 300 pounds.
In this segment, it's evident that Brian has considerable knowledge of criminology and is acquainted with infamous serial killers. Despite his assertion that he's not a serial killer, a note found on his phone on the night of the murder simply reads, "First." This discovery likely confirms suspicions that this would not have been his only murder if he had not been caught.
But what, were you worried about, leaving evidence behind or being caught?
Totally.
So tell me about that and what you did to...
Well, I was figuring the police don't... This is not to be taken offense, but police, they don't seem to care as much about high-risk individuals, homeless people, prostitutes, etc. So I was deliberately looking for someone who lived that type of life.
No trophy things? That was the wallet was?
Yeah. I was planning to maybe keep a finger.
You haven't got that far yet?
No.
Why a finger?
That's small. Not that much space.
As the interrogation concludes, Brian makes a chilling final remark. He expresses regret that he didn't keep one finger of his victim instead of the head as a trophy, citing that it would have smelled less. This statement unveils a dark desire to possess mementos from his crimes, a trait commonly associated with serial killers. On January 17, 2023, Brian Kohi's trial commenced with a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. His defense argued that his diagnosed mental health conditions combined with external stressors rendered him insane during the crime. In Colorado, legal insanity hinges on the inability to distinguish right from wrong due to mental illness or defect. The prosecution countered with evidence of Kohi's premeditation and efforts to dispose of the victim's body, indicating an understanding of consequences. The courtroom witnessed emotionally charged testimonies for 2 weeks, including Brian's mother recounting the discovery of a human head in her son's closet nearly 2 years earlier. 2 state psychologists concluded he wasn't legally insane. After 2 days of deliberation on February 3, 2023, the jury found 21-year-old Brian Kohi II guilty of first-degree murder, resulting in a mandatory life sentence without parole. While Brian perceived Warren as just another homeless man with no one to care for him, there were actually many friends and colleagues who cared deeply for him. Many hearts were shattered by Warren's tragic fate. A beloved figure in downtown Grand Junction, Warren was deeply ingrained in the community with numerous friends. To commemorate him, a memorial sculpture now stands in the breezeway between Out West Books and Monique's Bridal. His sister, Geraldine Shipp, described him as a gentle and avid reader. Warren's niece, Michelle Munfrada, expressed the anguish of learning of his suffering, something no one should ever endure. As we scrutinize Brian's behavior during the interrogation, it becomes clear that he closely matches the profile of a psychopath, displaying significant tendencies that point towards this. Specifically, his traits align with those of seasoned, hedonistic serial killers. One aspect contributing to this intricate puzzle could be Brian's distorted view of reality and his exposure to the dark side of the internet, where disturbing content is easily accessible. Did this exposure and potential lack of supervision contribute to shaping his abnormal behavior? How can we balance the attraction to violence with its horrifying consequences?
Akron 911, what's the location of your emergency?
Oh, we're at the I Promise School in Akron, Ohio.
Okay.
Our friend just got knocked out.
Okay.
We don't know what to do.
Is your friend unconscious?
Yeah.
Is he breathing? Hello, are you still here? Hello?
The 911 call ended abruptly, leaving behind unanswered questions about what had really happened. What the detectives found next was so gruesome that they could never have imagined such a scenario. On the night of June 2nd, 2022, 17-year-old Ethan Liming and his friends made their way to the I Promise School in Akron, Ohio, thinking their prank would be a harmless thrill. Little did they know, their playful tricks would bring about unforeseen consequences, altering their lives unimaginably. Let's delve deeper to uncover how something that was supposed to be a prank ended in chaos. As the boys left the school, investigators arrived at the location, following an anonymous tip reporting unusual activity in the area. The investigators carefully assessed the surroundings, and the horrific scene they were confronted with deeply shook the entire community. Ethan Liming was lying dead and covered in blood in the parking lot of the I Promise school. Meanwhile, the investigators tried to piece together the evidence. They examined the surveillance footage, but it was unclear what exactly had happened there and who had done this to Ethan. After analyzing the footage, investigators identified 3 suspects and took them into custody. These suspects were identified as 19-year-old Tyler Stafford, 21-year-old Donovan Jones, and 20-year-old Deshaun Stafford. Ethan had turned into a victim in his own game, leaving everyone to wonder who the perpetrator might be.
You want to talk to us and explain what happened that night in your side of the story?
Am I going to jail? If you're under arrest right now, so I'm going to do it. More than likely. But now is your time to tell your side of the story, because we only have one side of the story. And there's always 2 sides to every story. If you want to tell us your side of the story, we're more than happy to sit here and hear what you have to say to us.
Okay, so just tell us what happened, man.
They was chasing us on a court with the girls that were playing basketball. They did not come to play basketball. They did not come do nothing. literally pulled up fast as I thought those people getting out the car to shoot at us like real guns. I was supposed to do it. I didn't look at the car, I didn't ran out and ran away. But when I ran away, my brother was still in court. And they was running after us. And whatever it did, my brother yelled out the gun was safe. And I went over to confront him. He still shooting, literally in my body. And then as I'm getting closer, he shot me all in my face.
Can you pull your hair up? Where did you get your face?
All right here.
Okay. When you say you guys were on the court, who was on the court?
Me and my brother.
Some other dude. Do you know who that other dude is? You never seen him before, nothing like that? Okay. So you were just, was he there when you got there?
Who?
The other dude. Okay. And who was the girl? You don't know her either? Was she there when you got there?
No.
You don't know? Okay. All right, go ahead. So, continue.
Whatever, he shot me in my face. So I hit him, and then his friend got out the car to try to help him. Whatever. So, and as that was happening, my brother came to try to help me and shit. And he got him off me. That's why I got all of this right here.
What's that from?
That's from the road. And I hit my head like literally he slammed me.
So you and the guy.
This is easy.
Okay. And then what happened? You guys grabbed each other? Was there a tussle?
He grabbed me. He literally grabbed me, and then I slammed him.
So you slammed him onto the ground. And then what happened when you fell off?
He literally let him back up, and my brother was helping me over. Yeah, I hit him a couple times. We let him back up, and then he started following my brother because we was about to leave.
Okay. So you guys are walking away from the situation.
He literally walked away, bro.
And he came back toward you.
He was following my brother, and my brother had called my name. That's when I ran over to him and I hit him, and he fell on the ground.
So you punched him and he fell down the ground. So when you say he was following you, where were you at when you turned around on your brother called?
I'm by the car confronting the other dudes. I was about to fight them too for shooting.
By the blue car? Okay.
So I'm over there confronting them. I'm about to fight them too. But he just still trying to fight my brother. I know my brother.
Okay.
So when he called me over there, I literally hit him. He went right to sleep and shit.
Okay, so when he fell, what happened after that?
I hit him 2 times.
When he was on the ground? Okay. Didn't know what happened?
None after that, the motherfucking friends, they tried to come jump in and steal shit, but the other nigga, the one with the dreads, he ran away. And then the light skinned nigga followed him and shit.
Okay. And what about the white kid, the other white kid?
I think he was in the car that was on no, we ain't even touch him. Like, literally, after we knocked out, we didn't even touch nobody else.
Did he shot at you?
Yes.
He was?
He had the gun. And literally ran towards it, like he ran it down with that gun. Like literally.
Over at the courts? Okay.
Basically assault with my fucking toy gun.
So, did you know it was a toy gun to begin with?
No, I just told them they pulled up and I started running. They pulled up like they was gonna like, if you know people in the hood, bro, you know how they pull up real fast and they just get to jumping, I was shooting. Bro. Okay. That's how it was. Like,
when did you realize that it wasn't real, I guess?
I told you, my brother yelled out the gun to take.
So were you still on the court at that time?
I was like literally all the way in the back, off the court, onto the back.
So you're saying you came out and you ran away?
Yes.
Okay, so who ran towards him?
Who ran towards who?
Who ran towards the blue car originally?
I walked, like you talk about after they checked this.
When you're on the court and they're shooting at you and you realize it's a toy gun, you're running the other way. Who ran towards the blue car? Because the video showed somebody running towards the blue car, not running away.
I'm trying to, they ran back to the car. That's
correct.
Nobody ran directly towards the car.
Somebody followed.
Yeah, we can see that. I followed them back to the car.
Okay.
The front of the doors on the car, they moved the car, we got in the car and literally drove off and left.
Who did you move their car, that blue car, the car not? Who moved that? Yeah, not.
I ain't telling nobody shit.
Did you see their car drive?
Well, I threw up. I don't know what happened. Y'all seen the throw up into me? I was thrown up. I literally hit my head on the concrete right here, bro. Like, literally running my hair, bro. I couldn't do shit. I was literally disoriented. Almost passed up.
How did you drive your car home?
How did you hit your head? Literally grabbed my head, and then when I picked him up, literally went down with both of them down. I got my head up. My head was literally bleeding.
Okay. Did you grab any of their phones? When someone called 911 when you were there?
I don't know. I didn't touch nobody.
You didn't touch anybody's phone?
Okay. So you were never inside the car, or reached inside the blue car?
Yeah, I reached inside the car for that gun. That day it's in my house.
Okay. Okay. Did you take the gun?
Yeah, I took the gun. I was about to use it for evidence for fuck. I didn't know the little died until the next morning, bro, because I was going to report they for shooting at us after basketball. Bro. And now all I see is the next morning these dudes dead, bro.
From this footage, as Deshaun willingly confesses to everything, it's evident that he is the one who knocked out Ethan that fateful night in self-defense, without worrying about the implications. Deshaun's confession adds a significant piece to the puzzle, but the story isn't over yet. Let's see what the other suspects have to reveal.
But we need to know the whole story, and we need you to tell us your side of it. Because there's two sides to every story, man. And we're willing to sit down and listen to what you got to say.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you what I know.
Okay, so who all was there?
Me, my brother,
okay,
and somebody who was shooting. And Steve was playing basketball.
What's the other man's name?
I don't know his name.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
A blue car pull up.
Okay.
Somebody driving, two people in the back. They get out, start shooting at us.
Okay.
With a gun. I don't know if it was real or not, but I ended up just standing right there on the court without running. Then my brother and the other person ran. They shooting. That gun, it had ice balls in it, hitting us. And my brother got shot in his face.
Okay.
That's why we started fighting.
Did you get hit?
Yes, we all got hit.
Did the other guy?
Standing right there got hit with them.
Did the other guy get hit?
Everybody got hit with them. Everybody standing right there got hit with them.
So everybody got hit with them, and then what happened?
They ran off.
Mm-hmm.
Told my brother, because I seen what happened. I'm like, this fake guns. Because they thought it was real guns. He was running for his life. He was scared.
Okay.
Like them fake.
So when did you realize they were fake?
When they walked up, they started shooting, right?
Right.
My brother and the other person takes off. Started running. I did not run. I was bagged up.
Okay.
I see what they shooting. You feel what I'm saying? I can see what they shooting.
Okay.
They shooting them wordy guns with ice in them. Hitting my brother in the face, hitting me in the face. So we walked back. After they left, like ran off a little bit. They walked back because they started chasing us. Walked over.
Who started chasing you?
The two people out of the car started trying to chase us.
Okay.
But they see me just standing there because I was not worried about that. Even though it's hitting me with ice. Go over there. My brother confronted him about it. He started shooting my brother in the face. That's how the fight started. I don't know about how that man died or nothing, but all I know is he got knocked out. Ended the conversation after that. That's all I know.
Okay, so who knocked him out?
Austin, I don't know.
So you, your brother, and the other random guy.
We all was fighting, bro. Everybody.
So you were all fighting.
Everybody was fighting.
You were all fighting.
Yes.
Okay.
All of us not all fighting him like all three of us jumping him. No. All of us fighting. All of us. Like you get what I'm saying? Like,
so were you fighting with the other passengers in the car?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not. We weren't jumping him. We was fighting.
So your brother.
Four of us against three of us.
Okay. So
four of them against three.
So your brother goes to
confront who got the gun, shooting him in his face.
Okay.
Literally sitting there shooting him in his face while he's trying to confront him.
Okay. So your brother confronts him and you grab each other. Well, what happens after that? Was it a straight up start towards punching? And who starts swinging?
Well, I don't know the man. I don't know none of the names. I don't know them.
I mean, did your brother get hurt? Was the guy injuries?
He got shot in his face. And he got a lot of scars on his face.
Did the other guy land any punches, or do you know?
Yeah, they were swinging at each other.
Okay.
All I can tell you is, I don't know none of them people. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Next to I ain't just saying about that. I would be more visible about it, but other than that, I don't know shit.
Okay. So when your brother,
it was never a race crime or none of that.
No, and nobody ever said it was. I mean,
I heard that.
Well, you know that crap's on social media, and you can't believe anything on there. So when your brother and the guy are fighting, what happens then? How does it end?
First of all, the two people that was shooting the gun was not even the person I was driving. The person I was driving was the person who got knocked out, right?
Okay.
He got out the car. After my brother confronted the dude and hit him, he got out the car, trying to fight. My brother, so they started fighting or whatever. He let him go. He got up, you feel me? He got up. They could have got back in the car and left, you feel me? They still was trying to fight.
Okay.
Then that's when he tried to fight with me. He tried to fight me. And all I said was, bruh. And then that's when my brother came over here. They started fighting again.
Okay.
Then somebody knocked him out.
He got knocked out. And then what?
Then that's when I guess his friend called 911 or whatever. He was like, he's still breathing or whatever.
But you never saw anybody drive the blue car that the other guys showed up? No. Okay.
Definitely wouldn't.
You did go in the car to grab your gun?
To grab the gun.
The gun. Okay. So what you're telling us is your DNA will be in the car?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I'm going to ask you is, would you be willing to give us a sample of your DNA so that we can say that this is your DNA, this is why it's in the car, and then the person's DNA, the third person that you don't know that we're assuming is the person that drove the car, it's pretty much got to be that third person that you don't know, right? So what we need to do is have your DNA so that we can figure out who the last person's DNA is so we can figure out who they are.
As the key details are unraveled, is there anything more that the detectives are unaware of? Let's dive into the next clip, where the truth reaches its conclusion.
If you could give me maybe like a storyline about when you guys were playing basketball, what happened, what you felt was going on, and where it went from there and how it went.
Playing basketball?
Yeah.
Playing like 3 games. We was on the second game.
Okay.
And halfway through the game, a car just pulled up.
Yeah.
At first, nobody didn't hop out, so ain't no license on that. So as the game stopped.
Gotcha.
Then somebody hopped out and he started shooting.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was a real game.
Yeah.
I had ran back. Yeah. They still shooting. I'm just like, why are they still shooting?
Yeah.
At that point, I just tell everybody to shoot. I'm really basically talking.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
When you say everybody, you mean like your cousins and then the other people too?
Yes.
Okay. So you're trying to be like a mediator? Okay.
And it's escalated.
Yes.
Once he grabbed my cousin, it escalated.
Okay. So when you say he grabbed your cousin, which cousin did he grab? Just we have, and I'm just letting you know, we got cameras from McDonald's, we got cameras from the Akron school, and then Band of Beer across the street. So we got like all the events. So during the fight, being that it's in the center of the lot, you know, like where the basketball court is, it's well lit up.
Yeah.
And then the center of the parking lot, the videos kind of get pixelated, so you can't tell what you're doing, and you can't tell what your other 2 cousins are doing, and you can't pick out who is who because it's like so pixelated. You get what I'm saying? So anyways, which one of the people, and I don't even know if you can identify him, grabbed your cousin? Was it one of the ones that was shooting the gun?
Yes.
Okay. Was it one of the white kids or one of the black kids?
One of the white kids.
One of the white kids. Okay. Did you know how many kids were in that car?
4 total.
4 total?
Yes.
Do you remember there being 2 white kids and 2 black kids?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Did all of those guys get out of the car during that fight?
Yes.
Okay. So what kind of a fight ensued? You said you were trying to squash things, and then once one of them grabbed your cousin, like what happened at that point?
They basically all got out the car.
Okay. So it was getting ready to turn into like a fight?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Because my cousin tried to catch guns. Okay. Because he was shooting in the face. Okay. Still. Gotcha. Yeah. Just been abroad. Okay. So at that point during the fight, do you remember what happened? Like, was the fight, like, everybody fighting, or was it a couple people fighting? At that point, it was just really two of my cousins fight. I was really going over to shot to protect my cousin. Gotcha. I didn't jump. Then next thing I know is I just heard just a loud collision, like someone just fell to the ground. Okay. Then when you heard that loud collision, was that like right by that light pole? Yes. Okay. So was it one of the people that were trying to fight you guys, and one of your cousins, two of your cousins, just you, or who was it over there? Because you're saying you're saying you wasn't right there. You heard the loud collision, like someone falling. Yeah. Who was involved in that fight when he was falling? My cousin and him, because he was trying to fight my other cousin. Okay. When you say your other cousin, which one? Because, like I said, it's back and forth. No. That was the one he was fighting. He was fighting him. And then, what happened with those two fighting? So you two came over. Yes. Okay, so that makes sense. And when you two came over, when did you hear that collision or that person falling? Once those two running back to the car, after that point, I'm not even really worried about this wicked and ran to the car to take the leave. Okay. But them two were still fighting. Okay. Because he was still throwing punches. And he was trying to fight my cousin, and he had turned around, and it was just a hit, and he looked like he was knocked out until he hit his head. Then I heard this boom, like he cracked his head or something. Okay. Then I'm over here asking them, why is y'all pulling up doing stuff like that? No, Mr. Tucker. Yeah, exactly. No, we get those questions too, trust me. So the kid with the gun, the white kid, was fighting with Deshaun at first. Yeah. And that's when you heard the collision, the fall. Yeah. And then you noticed the other kids go back to the car, and at that point you thought things were calming down and cool because they were retreating to their car. So you started feeling like things were calming down. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, pretty much, because at that point I was talking to him. I was like, why y'all doing stuff like this, ignoring the situation? Okay. Like, that's something I basically be told. Okay. And while that kid was on the ground, do you know what happened after that? Yeah, I was talking to the guys, because they pulled over there. Yeah. Trying to even know. Okay. Back in the corner. Yep. Pulled back over to the other side. Gotcha. Had punched the two guys. You did? Yeah. Okay. And that was when the one guy was on the phone? Yeah. Okay. Did you grab his phone too? No. You didn't grab his phone? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Is there any reason your DNA might be on his phone or something like that? Mm-hmm. Okay. We just had a whole bunch of crushed cell phones out there, so the cars could have ran him over for all I know. I don't know. Anything specific or anything like that?
Not right now.
No.
You said your DNA is on me on the phone now.
No.
The suspect's confessions intertwine perfectly and leave no room for doubt. It was Deshaun's fatal punch that ultimately caused Ethan's death. The confessions also reveal that it was one of Ethan's friends who had made the anonymous 911 call and couldn't effectively coordinate with the officers who arrived at the crime scene. The confrontation had then spiraled into a deadly encounter that shattered lives forever, bearing the weight of a heartbreaking loss. The only outcome was bleak, paving the way to nothing but time behind bars. Initially, both the brothers were charged with murder, but those charges were reduced in July 2022, and the $1 million bonds were also modified following the new indictments. Following their trials in October 2023, Deshaun Stafford, 21, was found guilty of first-degree aggravated assault and assault. He was sentenced to 18 months in prison and 6 months in jail. However, Tyler, 20, was only found guilty of misdemeanor assault and was sentenced to 6 months in jail. Donovan Jones pleaded no contest to 2 counts of assault, a first-degree misdemeanor, in October 2023. He was sentenced to 180 days of suspended jail. The moment the sentence was announced, it was clear that Ethan's family found the outcome inadequate and were left disappointed. This case emphasizes a crucial lesson of how a seemingly harmless prank turned deadly, leading to drastic repercussions and transforming so many lives irreparably. It also serves as a reminder that no matter how trivial the action seems, it carries a weight that profoundly impacts our lives. What are your thoughts on this case? We would love to know. Let us know in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating videos like this.